today we're going to be taking a look at the AEW Unrivaled Series 6 set of action figures. I just got these in the mail this weekend from Ringside Collectibles, but they are also up available for pre-order on GameStop's website as well. I'll put product links down in the video description box if you want to go ahead and pre-order and pick up these awesome figures. So right out of the gate, as you can see, the packaging, everything is going to be the same thing we're all accustomed to at this point with the Unrivaled collection. You're going to have a nice little glam shot of the character over here in the right hand corner. You got your open window box display, which is perfect for autographs if you're into that type of thing. We got the gold lettering of the wrestler, and on the left side we have the AEW logo, as well as the same kind of profile shot of the head of the wrestler, the number in the series, so Jericho here, Series 6, number 45 figure overall. And then in the back we have an action shot of the actual wrestler wearing the ring gear that this figure is inspired from, their autograph, and the date they wore this actual attire. And then we have the callouts and the cross sales of the other Unrivaled Series 6 figures. So we got Jericho, we get Jake Hager, MJF, Hikaru Shida, Penta El Zero M. Previously he was just Pentagon Jr., but he changed his ring name, so now he's Penta El Zero M. And then Rey Fenix. So great looking figures. Excited to add these to the collection. Like I said, I'm a huge AEW fan. I've got every single one of these figures, and some of these are, you know, rehashes, retools, reskins, so to speak. MJF, this is the second MJF figure we've got. Obviously, he doesn't have a whole lot of toyeticness in terms of his ring gear, but overall, if you missed the original release of MJF, this is a perfect opportunity to get. And then Jericho, we've had multiple releases of Jericho. Technically, this is the third individual release. We're not counting chase figures. So if you missed the previous opportunities to get a Jericho, here's an opportunity to get a Jericho, and it comes with the AEW World title. But let's go ahead and get them out of the plastic prisons and check them out up close, shall we? All right, first things first, let's start out with Le Champion, Mr. Chris Jericho, new head sculpt here. Obviously, he's got that shouting expression, and speaking of Le Champion, he has the bandana. Le Champion is completely removable. You'll just have to pop off his head, but it is, you know, attached there underneath on the neck, so you can just take the handkerchief off if you do not wish it to be on there. Articulation is going to be the same for all the figures across the board, so we'll go over it really quickly. These Unrivaled figures are always great with their articulation. So the head's going to go up and down, but this one's not going to go very far because, number one, of the bandana, handkerchief, whatever you want to call it, and his hair is also going to prevent him from being able to tilt his head very far back. But it does go forward and back, side to side, and spins 360 degrees. And now I've got the bandana, all sorts of wacky. Shoulders are going to go up and out. You're going to have 360 degree rotation at the shoulder, 360 degree rotation at the bicep. You're going to have double jointed elbows. You're going to have 360 degree rotation at the wrist, horizontal hinges. Get that back there. The upper torso here is on a ball joint. You can spin it 360 degrees. You can also crunch it forward and crunch it backwards. And the lower torso is also on a ball joint, so you can really get some nice forward bends and backwards bends with the body. Legs gonna kick that far forward, not gonna kick back hardly at all because it always catches here back on the diaper. You're going to be able to get them completely in a split though, because we do have the ball joints inside, so you get some nice range of motion side to side and forward, but not so much straight backwards. You're gonna have a thigh cut up here, so 360 degree rotation up at the thigh. Double jointed knees, so go ahead and get the knee bend all the way back. You can take the knee pads off if you want to. You're going to have a boot cut, 360 degree boot cut for all the figures. You're going to be able to rock the foot side to side. You're going to have a hinge that moves forward and backwards, and you could spin the ankle 360 degree rotation if you want, and you'll have standard peg holes at the bottom of the feet, and that does it for the articulation. Now the figure itself, I'm a fan of this, and like we mentioned previously, this is technically the third independent release for Chris Jericho, not counting chase figures. The very first wave, this is the first initial release before they changed the skin tone and reissued it. But as you can see, face sculpts, details, these are very, very well done. If I had to choose a favorite, I would probably go with this new one. They both share a nice, remarkable likeness to Chris Jericho, so the sculpt is there. But overall, I like this expression. I think it just captures Chris Jericho's likeness so much better. And then everything else is pretty much standard. His gear, we got some yellow lines here on the thighs, up here in the joints, in the hip area. And then his tattoos are very bright, very vibrant, and that is kind of a common theme I'm seeing across with this new Series 6. All the tattoo line work and everything, the details, the color, the shading, all of the tattoos on these figures look absolutely remarkable. It's got, you know, his nice cutout boots and everything. So overall, it's a great looking Chris Jericho figure, great looking Le Champion. He does come with the AEW World Title belt, and it is slightly different in color than previous releases. This new version that came with Jericho is much more gold. Previous releases, we got much more pronounced silver looking ones, as I'm holding it upside down, my bad. But as you can see, there's more silver accents in this previous release, and this newer release is much more gold in color, so that is one noticeable difference. A second noticeable difference is the strap itself is changed. The newer one is thinner and easier to actually, clasp, which is great because I've always had an absolute pain trying to get these clasps on these AEW World Title belts that we've got in the previous Unrivaled collection. And another thing you'll notice different between the two, so we got the new version here on the bottom and the old version up top. The backs are completely different. The new version has this CEUKCA emblem here on the back, and then obviously different clasping mechanisms to keep the plates of the belt in place. But that is Chris Jericho in a nutshell. So let's move on to Mr. Jake Hager. So what's great about getting Jake Hager is, number one, we can finally complete our entire Inner Circle, group. So he was the last remaining figure in the Inner Circle stable that we had not yet got. So we got Jake Hager here. He's a very tall figure, so scale's pretty good. He's obviously taller than Chris Jericho, so they got that right. Articulation, again, is going to be the same across the board. Looking at his ring gear here, we got the short boots, short wrestling boots, green there on the outside, as well as the midsoles, and then kind of a goldish green there as well on his tights on the side. Got the gold trim on the outside, but it's not quite as bright gold. It almost looks green here. And he's got his short sleeve hoodie here with the gold on the sleeves there. And it is removable. You're just going to unclasp it here. It's just Velcroed. And I got to applaud them how well this, was put on the figure, because this is not overtly baggy. A lot of the times these things are super baggy when you get the, the soft goods material on the figures. Go ahead and take that off. And as you can see, now we've got our standard gear. You can see we got some nice details around the midsection of his trunks. His tattoo there on his forearm. Another tattoo on the back of his neck and the shoulder areas. And I do got some rub spots from the soft goods material. Hopefully that'll just come off with a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser or something like that. The face sculpt could be a little bit better, but I mean, it's not bad, but it's also not great. This one just kind of gets a meh for me as far as the details. The haircut and everything, they did a good job there. The color, yeah, it could be maybe a little lighter, because I don't think he's quite as gingery as this really portrays him. And then his accessories, he comes with 2 closed fists, so you can swap those out. But you get a soft goods hoodie, 2 closed fists, and you got Jake Hager there. And next up, we've got Mr. MJF himself, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Technically, this is again the second release of Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Previously, we got this release, came with an extra accessory, had his little patented Burberry scarf. This one, sans scarf, but he does have some added details that the previous one didn't. So first and foremost, his microphone is different. It's a different sculpt, better details on this new MJF figure with his microphone. Again, the tattoos, the line work, the colors, the shading, everything is much more vibrant, stands out over past figure. And then his trunks, we got the golden lion there, just basic knee pads. He's got MJF written there on these sides of his boots. His tattoos, even on the rib cage, are nice and prominent, easy to see. And he also comes with his diamond ring there on his hand, which is a nice added feature that didn't come on the standard figure, but was a part of the chase figure in the previous release. As far as the head sculpt and everything, definitely looks like MJF. We've got some different hair shades this time, so it's a lighter brown here on these sides where it's cut short. On the other one, it was a red fade. So the hair color's changed there. He's got, the almost mutton chops on the sides, where this one was completely clean shaven. and the body itself is a little more shiny, and the skin tone is a little bit different, and it's just for whatever reason shinier. So the new MJF has a very shiny, glossy upper chest torso, where the previous release was a much more matted color tone. The skin tone, again, just slightly different between the two. Maybe it's going to be hard to tell with the studio lighting and everything. But personally, I prefer the first release MJF head sculpt over this, and I'm going to say I actually like this toned body as well as far as the non-glossy finish. I like the fact that it's not as shiny. I don't know if this is just made to look like he just got done wrestling, or if he just, oiled up before walking out, but he's, for whatever reason, extra shiny compared to the previous release. But MJF comes with 2 also interchangeable hands. No scarf this time, but you do get 2 more open hands, so you can swap it out. Neither one of them have the ring on it. Next up, we have Hikaru Shida, the 3rd female wrestler figure to be released from the AEW toy line. Fantastic wrestler, fantastic talent. She's got very unique ring gear. Always reminds me of Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, but she's even got her tabby boots there, which is a nice detail. So we got the, the inward toe ninja shoe, whatever you want to call it, but they're officially called tabby boots. Her ring gear is very eccentric, very unique. So the skirt and everything, if you don't like the suspenders and skirt, you can technically slide it off, take it off her. They did the nice details of her hair highlights and her hair color change, where it goes, from black to purple on the ends, both on the front and the back. Good range of motion for her as well. Knee pads, got some nice yellow gold trim there. And then she also comes with the AEW Women's World title as well. And it is, again, slightly different than a previous one that we got. Mainly, again, same type of thing as we spoke about with the Jericho title differences. The new title here that we're getting with Hikaru is much more gold, and the older version we got with Riho was gold, but it had a little more yellow accent to it. So much more gold prominently thrown through. And then again, same type of thing. They changed the strap. This new one is much easier to clasp around the back and get into the notches and everything. So a much more posing friendly belt and world title for Hikaru Shida. Set her aside. And then we have Pentagon El Zero M, aka Pentagon Jr. Like I said previously, he was just Pentagon Jr. in the previous release. Here we go. Both figures are phenomenal. He always has very toyetic ring gear. It's very impressive. Fantastic wrestler through and through. Got some nice details on his mask there with the, the dragon, and then his tattoos, of course. He's got so many elaborate tattoos, and just like the other figures I mentioned, lining up side by side with previous releases, you can just tell the color differences and the detail differences between the previous releases and the newer releases. These newer release tattoo job, they're just night and day better, plain and simple. Awesome gold details throughout his ring gear, all the way from the boots to the knee pads, the sides, the back, everything. Even his fake abs that he always puts on his ring gear. He does come with a couple interchangeable hands, and speaking of gold accents, one of them is a black glove that even does have the gold accent on it, which is nice. And he's got another taped up hand, not fully gloved, with black tape. But great range of motion. You can make him do his famous pose, Cero Miedo. Looks great. Absolutely A-okay having another one. I like double dipping on these guys because they're 2 of my favorite wrestlers. Great tag team. We got Rey Fenix, his brother. Partner in crime. Again, lining them up side by side with the previous releases. You can just see the tattoos, just night and day better quality overall with this Series 6 release of the Rey Fenix. Face sculpts, head sculpts, everything look phenomenal. I love the mask work, the line work, everything looks good. Range of motion, posability, these guys look phenomenal. He's got the, again, matching gold accents for when he was partnered up, when they were doing the tag team action. Great looking ring gear. Got the nice line work on the kickers and the kick pads. Look good. Rey Fenix also has a couple of interchangeable hands. See if I can get him to balance there on an uneven table. So he's got one taped up hand here with the open handshake type of position. And we got another one, same thing, has the matching tattoos on his hands. So that's a nice detail we get on both the hand that comes on the figure as well as the interchangeable hand. But that is it in a nutshell. That is Series 6. If I had to pick a personal favorite, I would probably rank this as Hikaru Shida number 1, Penta number 2, Fenix number 3, Le Champion number 4, MJF number 5, and Hager as number 6. Mainly just because the Hager figure, I think the face sculpt could be improved. MJF is just, you know, it's kind of a bland figure in terms of toyeticness. He does have that Burberry wrist tape, which is slightly different over the original release, but I do like the skin tone, the less glossy version, and the head sculpt of the original MJF figure more than I do this new version. The only thing I really like about this new version is the tattoo and the microphone. So that is it in a nutshell. Again, if you're interested in picking up any of these figures, I'll put product links down in the video description box below. But guys, hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful, and as always, thanks for watching, guys. Really means a lot.